You're listening to Late Night Radio on the SHR Media Network. Caution, there will be mature themes explored and potentially adult language used. If conservatarian words, phrases, certain concepts, or rhetoric offends you, tune out now.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Tomo, you magnificent bastard, I read your book. I drink your milkshake.
How dare you?
I call that bold talk for a one-eyed fat man.
Fill your hand, you son of a bitch.
Captain.
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 No, not yet. Not yet. Don't pass out on me yet. Of course you realize this means war.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Let me stop this right here. Right there. Mission-ready men for the early win. The thumbnail. Yeah, I get you. I grok that concept.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Well, how about this for a week? Not like there isn't anything to talk about. Ever. Said nobody on a podcast. Ever. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to BZ's Berserk, Bobcat, Saloon radio show, where I'm broadcasting live and direct from the SHR Media Nope, Idaho studio. I happen to be your conservative Sherpa, guiding you through the maelstrom of a whole bunch of shit that if you look, it looks like this stuff running under the banner down below. And what you're about to hear for the next 2 hours consists of my opinion and my opinion only, and that of my guests. And have I got a great guest for you tonight? That would be absolutely true. I am doing the job. The American media maggots won't. I'm fundamentally changing America one leftist diaper at a time. We don't water our drinks, just like we don't water our conversations. We are still serving stiff drinks right here in the saloon, along with facts, history, logic, rationality, proportion, context, tradition, common sense, and clarity for young people and old alike. Politics, religion, crime, culture, economics, race, sex, science, law. We talk about all right here at the saloon, where the speech is free, but the booze is not. I'm streaming on a ton of 1 metric ton of different places all over the internet. Let me see if I can put this up as to the places that I am broadcasting. Yes, and yes. For those of you who just tuned in, yes, and yes to you also, yes. I am on Spreaker, YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, and KLRN, Klern, not CERN, because CERN makes shit blow up. Phantom. And the Phantom is, don't let that happen again, Phantom. Being a minute late is absolutely, it's like David Lee Roth said, you may think so, you don't feel tardy, but you really are. Jeez, oh, pizza unpleasant, blind guy, Phantom. Sean Lewis. Let's go back up here and acknowledge Mission Ready Men, whose show I watched today. And you should be pleased. Listen, stealing is the best form of I love you. Who love you, baby? So at the beginning of the show, I have white people dancing. I have black people dancing. And then we're going to get into some serious stuff. BZ stole a clip. No. I don't steal or purloin per se. I may borrow. I may thieve. I may take something from like over here and move it over here, but I don't really steal. So let's see, what is this right now? And again, I apologize. I don't have a song for this, but we're going to go briefly into the carousel of amusing GURP, and let me remove this so that you can actually see what's going on. Stop the banner and stop the banners. Everyone, stop. Bruce, you there, put down that Bruce banner. And we're going to go to this. Look, it's a guy dancing, a white guy dancing with a gun. That's not the same movie that you're thinking with Kevin Costner. Wait a minute. Dance, mister. What form? What form? Loving the cylinder. Did you just point that at me? Yes, the sideways grip. That always works. Oh, man. Okay, well, maybe that wasn't all that wonderful. I try to make things amusing. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to definitely have amusing things for you to watch. Maybe.
I'm DeAndre, the new spokesperson for Cracker Barrel. Everybody hated that boring ass logo change, so they hired me. The new slogan is Cracker Barrel, built on Southern habits, but niggas and chicos is cool too. Now, we serving Spanish dishes, and on Tuesdays, we got a mariachi band. Hey, la cucaracha, hey, bonito. Shit, they talk about putting me on the logo. Know what I mean? Putting me on the logo with my motherfucking fire. We got Watermelon Wednesdays, where everybody get a slice of watermelon with tahini on it for one entree purchase. Yum! That game with the peg on it is out the door. From here on out,
no.
We got a new drink menu. Kool-Aid, Mexican Coke, Corona, cut water, natural light. Yeah! But that shit is dangerous. That cut water from the devil. We accept all cultures. We even got Rubik's Cube for the little Asian kids. Konnichiwa, nigga.
Konnichiwa.
Man, off the chain, bro. They paid me $5,000 plus gratuity every damn day to be the spokesperson. I wouldn't give a damn. You feel me? I gotta get that money. I like that money. Yeah.
Okay. All right. BZ, you Bastin Bastage. You Bastin Bastage, BZ. How would you play such racist GURP? And the thing about it is, that shit's funny. And if you're not laughing and you don't think that shit's funny, then you need to get the hair out the door right now. Let's go back to the comments over there. By the way, look who's here.
Oh, hi.
Would you look at this guy right here?
Hey,
this guy is the guy.
I have to tell you that I absolutely love DeAndre. I've seen him do some other stuff too. He's got a channel.
I have never seen
him. He is just downright funny, and he is classic. So I do love me some DeAndre. So that was great. I don't know why the gun dance swallowed a fly. I don't know why he felt up the barrel. That was a little weird.
Yeah, that was kind of strange.
That's where it made it awkward.
Okay. Well, let's, like I say, continue with the comments right here. What clip did he take? Oh, well, it's funny you should mention that. Oh, you'll see. I'm doing Harridge. This can't end well. It certainly won't end well. White guy dancing with a gun. That's Mission Ready Men. Wow. I love DeAndre. He is awesome. Amazing. He barreled up his weapon.
I didn't see that by Phantom. That was good. That scrolled through too fast for me.
What was?
The barrel comment by Phantom.
Oh, okay. Not bad. Okay. Phantom, first one of the show. It's not full. It's kind of a
think. You have to suppress the ring. That's how you do a half one.
Wait, this is my own show. I don't know how to do this.
No, that's have you ever?
Yeah, like this. There we go. Here.
There we go. That's a half ding.
That's a half ding.
I tell everybody I have to come on the air at least every other month.
That's funny. That's some funny shite right there. Anyway, okay. I'm going to credit the steal. I was watching Big Earl, Mission Ready Men this morning, and he played this, and I laughed like a bastard then, and I'm going to laugh like a bastard now, but I acknowledge the thievery and the source of the thievery. This is 15 seconds or so of Jerry Nadler. Okay, watch him. Watch. Okay, when Earl played this, I'm not crying like I did when I saw it for the first time this morning on Earl's show. But the fart, I had to say to Earl, is this real? Did this really happen? And apparently the dealio, maybe not with that clarity of sound, perhaps. But I mean, that Jerry Nadler's farts apparently are legendary in the Senate. It's or the House rather. And then I watched this. Now watch the way in which he penguins off the stage. And if that doesn't say something amazing to you, because I want everybody in chat to put in here, why is he walking off the stage like this?
Shuffling.
Legislation of other members of
Boot his mouth.
And this. You want to know how old this clip is? They're wearing masks, so we're looking at 2020.
Okay.
So it's not a young clip.
On this subject, not part of this.
The camera pans out. That's the best part.
I know.
The camera's panning at what he's doing. Okay, if you don't understand what he's doing, well, I don't know whether you understand what he's doing, but as far as I'm concerned, it looks like he's walking off very carefully to make sure all that rolling shit doesn't droozle down his pant leg and into his shoe and on the carpet.
I was gonna say I've seen that walk before in real life.
Fuck a duck.
And I know exactly what that walk was. That was gotta make sure I don't break the seal with the draws.
Oh my God. With the draws, how do you spell draws? D-R-A-H-Z? I think I'm going to guess it's
D-R-A-H-W-Z draws. There's a W in there.
D-H-Z. Okay, let me go down here and put this up, and then we're going to go.
Weapons Grade Stupid, the segment where anyone can play, but leftists are over.
I can't even put up the right overlay. Well, the show is starting off great. It's fucking starting off awesome.
We're sprinting on this one. I'm feeling good about it, BZ. I'm feeling good.
Thank you very much. Okay, for Weapons Grade Stupid, which that's me, obviously. This is great. Now, the backstory to this, and I think you already know, or you may have already featured this on your show. I'm not sure, but okay. So there's some leftist bullshit being pulled, and some leftists just trying to be awesome, like oh, I'm trolling the shit out of Trump, and soldiers marching in DC is just right out of The Handmaid's Tale, which wasn't a bad show. I watched the show. It was kind of intriguing. Dystopia, USA, something like that. You know, almost kind of sort of, but not like exactly. The Man in the High Castle, which I enjoyed. As a matter
I
of
enjoyed The Man
fact.
in the High Castle too.
Oh,
And
yeah.
The Handmaiden Tale was very much like that genre.
Yeah, kind of a
alternate
dystopian America. What the hell?
I agree with you. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was bad.
No, but this is weird. Okay, so this is from where? Red State. Okay. I may possibly have also stolen this from Rick Robinson. I think
that's where you got it from.
I'm not saying for sure. So Jennifer Bendry of the HuffPo, which is a massive left-wing kind of piece of crap, put a post up saying DC residents shared a photo of her with two women dressed up like handmaids standing next to National Guard members in Union Station. That was supposed to illustrate the horrible, as I mentioned, dystopian situation that's occurring in DC right now with that terrible crime crackdown, because everybody has a damn right to crime. So there's the Twitter thing. And the funny thing is that I love about this is the National Guard dude is playing right into it. You know, see, oppressive, friendly National Guard dude waving to the camera as I'm trying to make a statement. Damn it, you're supposed to frown. Don't you get what's going on? See, he's waving. And then you go down here and then you look.
Oh,
there's a photograph of handmaids. Right. And then you go down there and the chick on the right is the person who wrote this article and then is also the person who happened to fucking stage it. It's like, good God, can you not help but be such dickweeds about everything? And the clear answer is no, you cannot help about being dickweeds. And I happen to mention man hands, tranny man hands early, and Representative McBride from wherever the fuck, not like I really particularly care, but that's the tranny unit that's in the House, I think, is going to say that the Republican Party is anti-family and anti-baby and all that kind of stuff. Dude, you know, if you live long enough, dude, you are going to get prostate cancer. And on top of it, check out
Republican
the man
leadership
hands.
is throwing a temper tantrum. They just canceled votes for the rest of the week, shutting down the floor of the House of Representatives for the next several days, all in an effort to stop the House from allowing new parents in Congress to vote by proxy. So they
see, and the dealio is holding such a little teeny weeny.
It doesn't make it any better.
Mike doesn't make his hands look any smaller.
But if that's Representative McBride's like comfort zone, having something that small, it could explain a lot.
Effort to allow new parents.
So anyway, so much for that. You got the whole gist of it. The joke was probably the first 5 seconds or so, and then it didn't end up being a whole hell of a lot more funny than that. Oh, shitibus erectibus. Tons more. That's what got me when I first saw it. Yeah, okay, I agree. I admit I thieved from Mission Ready Men, but that's because I cried like a baby this morning when I first saw that fucker.
It was funny.
And he did have a full load. Is the potato water flowing already? No. Okay, that's sad. I was doing a bunch of other stuff like feeding the dogs and whatnot.
Wait.
And over here, where the potato water customarily sets, I'm going through withdrawals already because there ain't nothing over there right now.
Is that why you're shaking suddenly?
That must be it.
And you're sweating. I've never seen you sweat.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, I got both.
Those CTs are really getting to you.
I know. I got both. I got the meat sweats from eating the dog food and what? And I got, like I'm
real meat.
He's coming down fast.
At least you know it's real meat if you're getting the meat sweats.
That's true. Thank God. I take care of my dogs. I love them. I love them big time. Canada Heavy Haul is here. Great to see you here. And Mission Ready Men.
Funny, he must be really busy on Monday and Wednesday nights. My friend, Canadian Heavy Hall.
Oh.
The guy who was my friend. The guy who...
like the good friend of yours that you told me about from the projects, Earl Jackson.
He's another one.
Yeah. When I had him on the show, I will never stop telling this story. So there I was. I'm looking on the internet and I see this cool dude who has a conservative philosophy. And that's back when I used to scour the internet for as many people as I could find to put on the show. And so there he was, Earl Jackson. So I contact him. Hey, dude, looks really good. Hey, great philosophy. Great. I don't remember what site I saw him on. Maybe Facebook, maybe Twitter back when Twitter was Twitter. And so I schedule Earl for the show. Earl comes on, kicks a goal, kicks numerous goals. And then towards the end of it, he says, yeah. And like that Sean guy, like who, the guy that's with you on SHR, Sean Lewis. Yeah, that's the guy. Fuck, I worked with him as a cop back in Boston, and we were walking beats in the projects and all that cool shit. Thanks for telling me. So I will never. There are stories.
I always say you have to see it from my side too. As BZ's telling me, oh, there's this guy and he's on the internet, and I'm like, trying to get him to come on, and he's a friend of, he's a really good conservative guy. His name is Earl, blah, blah, blah. And I knew exactly who it was, but Earl didn't out it, so I wasn't going to out it. So it was a couple weeks. And then finally Earl said to you, oh yeah, no, I've known Sean since God knows when, back in the day. And you were so pissed.
So just as there are stories that you will continue telling about me, that's one story that I will continue telling about you. By the way, Canada Heavy Hall is sending a message to you.
Oh, I can see it. Oh, trust me.
Okay, so I don't see. Oh, wait. There's somebody new. Is it somebody new? I think it's somebody new. So somebody new in
Josh
here
was with us before.
Has he? Okay. Yeah. Anyway. Joshua, good to see you, because I'm forgetful as fuck, because that's why you love me. Gets a real honest to good ringy dingy here in the saloon. So great to see you here. Mission Ready Men. Yeah, that shit never gets old. That's true. Hey, Lewis.
I'll take it.
Not Sean, but Lewis.
Well, it's hard because I don't use my regular sign in for YouTube. So a lot of people I notice haven't made that connection. Mike's in the chat as well.
Yep. Oh, and I got to play this too. Jesus, you guys got me. It's so easy to get me like kicked off and delayed and everything. Under weapons grade stupid is also this. It's like, find me another series of stories about Gen Z that support them and tell me that they're one of the finest generations. I mean, literally, I have people, Mike Fitzpatrick is one of them, who says that Gen Z is going to save us, to which I say, really? Gen Z is going to save us? Because this is one of two stories. I did the other one on Tuesday. So then I found this one today. It's like Gen Z running out of fuel in their cars because they're scared to fill them up. It's like, where do you find this stuff? Well, I find it on the internet, but where did they find it? This is so weird. And then, of course, the one I did Tuesday, which is like, Gen Z has bathroom anxiety, and they're ready to quit their jobs because of it.
It is absolutely amazing.
God dang, how do you find this stuff?
I stress out having to go to the fuel station because I know what it is. I know how much it's going to cost.
Well, yeah.
I don't have fear anxiety about it. I just don't like it.
No kidding. It's
it's amazing to me to watch and again, it goes back to a generation that was coddled. Everybody wins, yada, yada, yada. You go back and you look at that generation, and yes, of course, there are some members of that generation that are just fine. We're not talking about you.
No.
We're talking about the vast majority. The ones who were the ones who were eating Tide Pods and licking Bluebell ice cream, like you set the tone for your generation. Don't be mad at us because we're calling you out on it. Yeah, we did dumb things too, but our dumb things included like jumping off a cliff into a lake, jumping a bike off of something stupid. As we got older, power drinking. Look, the alcohol industry, and I it's amazing. The alcohol industry is suffering right now because this generation doesn't drink.
What the hair is wrong with them? You know,
That's
like
everything to know right there.
stupid shit. Like, okay, I'll tell you one thing. Everybody, I know you know what an M80 is, but for those of you who don't know what an M80 is, it's roughly shit. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Quarter stick, isn't it?
It's like an eighth stick of dynamite.
That's right.
Something like that. Anyway, I should know. I went to fucking EOD in Alabama, for fuck's sake. Anyway, a real honest to God M80 is about like this with a little fuse, maybe an inch fuse on those. And it's
always love that
realized it.
Fuse on the, once you start stepping up into the size of fireworks that can blow off digits, the shorter the fuse.
Fuses get shorter. You can't write this crap. Anyway,
whatever genius that was.
Yeah, it's just like so. Speaking of genius, Mr. Genius here is given an M80. Okay, so after having given the M80, I'm holding it in my left hand. You know, soon to be renamed Stumpy in terms of my hand. And so somebody hands me a lit match. I light it. And the deal is to see how long you can hold this shit in your hand before it gets down to the bottom and the fuse goes like a cat. It goes down to the bottom.
And you have to hold it as long as
you have to hold it as long as you possibly can.
And you have all these idiot friends of yours encouraging you to hold it longer.
Of course they were. Of course they were. Because they love me, right? They want to see me dead.
And then
they
when
want
it
to
goes
see
wrong,
you know, the arm cut off right around here, you know, so
fingers that are all just and then when whatever goes wrong does go wrong, what's the first thing your friends do at that age? Everybody runs.
No, they run.
Everybody
Yes.
runs.
Jesus.
They just take off. We were
oh God.
In my youth, we knew a couple places that we could get up on the roofs. There was this one, and it was a chemical company. I didn't realize till later. They had all their short pup trailers lined up like 5-6 inches apart from each other, and if you ran down 20 of them, you could get up onto the roof of their business. So, you know, in our teen years, when we were being jackasses, we used to go down there at night and run across the trucks because that was cool, right? It's only, a 16-foot fall. And then we would jump up on the roof and hang out up there for a little bit. Well, and that whole section of town caused us problems because I'll explain to you how I almost drowned on a makeshift boat later.
Okay, that's always fun.
But then we got up on the roof and we were walking around, and there was like 5 or 6 of us, and of course it's 10 o'clock on a Saturday night or whatever, and I decided I was going to walk over the plexiglass sunlight, and it was old and shattered underneath me as soon as I got on top of it. So now I'm hanging by the aluminum. Didn't fall the 25 feet into the chemical plant to become the Joker later on in life.
Oh, yeah. Like the movie where somebody fell into the huge chemical bubbling vat.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there holding on to it, and I'm waiting for help because that's usually like the right thing to do, right? Like a whole bunch of friends being like, oh, yeah, anytime now. And they all ran. All of them ran.
Of course.
Because it broke through. So now I have to climb myself out of this. And the other thing, too, is there was a restaurant called Anthony's who had just redone all of their walk-in freezers. And most people don't know they're filled with compressed foam and aluminum on both sides.
Right.
Well, the walls were dumped out back, I assumed, for someone to come get. And we figured out if we bent up the corners, they make a great makeshift boat to go down the little river in.
Oh, nice.
None of us really thought about what would happen when the foam got waterlogged. And I'm out in the middle of the river, and all of a sudden it starts going down.
Yeah, I thought for certain that you were going to say that. And while we were floating on the foam, we thought to see, hey, what if we light this shit on fire and see if foam burns?
That actually doesn't, that wouldn't have shocked me if we did that either. Or built a fire in the middle of the giant aluminum wall with the foam. Yeah, it was just, we were dumbasses, but we're here.
That's right. We survived a lot of stuff. You know, certain generations had T-ball and we had shit blewed up.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why they call me like Stumpy these days.
Yep.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. I'm BZ. I'm going to remove Sean from the equation, but not for long, because one of the amazing things about Sean is I saw him on X with a particular post. And since he made that post, and it was part and parcel, kind of sort of what I was going to talk about tonight, I read that and I thought, oh shit, that's super insightful. I need to bring this dude on because, and the only person to tell the story is Sean himself. So that's why I'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Mission log entry. I mean, let's face it, who's even counting anymore? The Lost Wanderer is officially off course, chasing rogue rocket launches, fringe science, and things that probably violate causality. If it burns fuel, bends time, or makes scientists very uncomfortable, yeah, I'm probably going to talk about it. Every other Sunday on KLRN Radio, The Lost Wanderer, because space doesn't come with a roadmap, and honestly, I wouldn't follow if it did.
Hello, I'm Matt, a student at Hillsdale College. Here's Hillsdale President Larry Arnn on the continuing relevance of the Constitution.
Many argue today that the Constitution is outdated because it addresses problems peculiar to the 18th century. Some parts of the Constitution do read rather quaintly. Consider the injunction against titles of nobility in Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution. But is that so outdated? The purpose of the injunction is to prevent the government granting special privileges to some for partisan reasons. This strikes at the heart of the rule of law. The crony capitalism so common today is a place where the government bestows favors and tax dollars on some businesses to give them a leg up over others. This is exactly the kind of thing the Constitution was meant to prohibit. The Constitution is not so outdated after all.
This Constitution Minute was brought to you by Hillsdale College. To join the national conversation on the Constitution, go to constitutionminute.com.
Hey fellas, are you mission ready? You need to check out Mission Ready Men via Earl Big E Jackson on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and noon Eastern. It's a show that equips you to navigate our society's challenges from a biblical perspective with courage and conviction. Tune into Mission Ready Men as we examine our culture through the prism of biblical truths, teachings, and how to apply them in our daily lives. Prepare to step up, stand out, and step into your role as a man as ordained by God. That's Mission Ready Men, hosted by Earl Jackson on the SHR Media Network. And get mission ready.
Want to make an immediate difference in the life of a critically ill child? You have the ability to do that right now. Make a donation to Dream Makers for Life, the organization that restores dreams to seriously ill children and their families. You can sponsor a dream pack for a child, which contains a clear PVC backpack, a dry erase board adventure coloring book, a journal, and dry erase markers to inspire a critically ill child to envision a future adventure and hope. Want to become a dream maker for life yourself? Go to dreamforlife.org. That's dreamforlife.org. Help a child. Help a family. There is always hope.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And I'm back. I'm BZ. That first half hour was fun as hell. I enjoyed that. And Sean is here. He's right here. He's here. Not with the beard, but he's still here. Not with the beard. I got the beard. He has no beard, no beer. But he's still a great, fabulous guy with a... what is that style? Now, it's a Van Dyke if it's pointy, but that's not a Van Dyke.
It's just a straight goatee.
Yeah, goatee. Okay. Hey, have you thought, matey, or considered about having a Van Dyke?
No, I have not.
Okay, because it would be pointy and Scotty Roberts kind of looking, and you can point it down here. Say, I've got a lot that I could make a Van Dyke from, but mine is white and old. And
I'm not saying it's out of the picture, but right now I'm still kind of interested in talking to women.
Okay. Damn, I'm busy tonight. Busy. Okay. And also to everyone who happens to be watching tonight, thanks for subscribing. We're all up to 609 subscribers, and we have a contingent. This is marvelous. We have, I think, 4,000, over 4,000, almost 5,000 videos and aural pieces, AURAL. I know what you were thinking. Get out of the mud. Well, you can watch and look at under SHR, except you're going to say,
a lot of those 4,800 are from our original podcast way back in the day, and not just ours, all of our former associates and broadcasters. So there's some really cool old retro stuff in there for sure if you get a chance to watch it.
You know what we should do someday? James, welcome to James. Thanks for being here tonight in chat. You too can be in chat. How do I know you can be in chat? How is it that I know that you can be in chat? Because if I pull this up and I say, look, you can be in the chat room. And for those of you who don't know, the chat room is remarkably similar, if I can find it, to this. Now, who wouldn't want to be in that chat room? Look how beautiful that is. We have a beautiful pond, which some people use as a swimming pool. Sadly, it's only about 3 feet deep, so you won't be able to go anything above your ankles, or in Hillary's condition, cankles. But it's beautiful nevertheless, with a gorgeous view of the foliage and the trees and the snakes outside knocking on the door waiting to
Your
get
next one needs to be a conversation pit from the 70s.
Oh, I have something similar to that I put up at one time, which was this big hairy ape in very 70s looking chairs. Now with absolutely no aplomb whatsoever, just a smack in your face segue. Now we're going to go to the stuff that I wanted to talk about. I saw this. God, I'm admitting to stealing so much shit tonight. What is wrong with me? I saw this originally from Tim Kaine, and I think I thieved this from your site, if I'm not mistaken.
Perhaps.
And or I thieved it from Ted Cruz, one of the two. This is Tim Kaine saying things that it's like, are you actually saying this?
Admitting it in public.
To people who may know something. Now, for the ignorant fucks on the left, they wouldn't know and they don't care. But for the people like you and I and the folks in the class of individuals who generally consume our fare here at SHR, this is 1 minute and 25 seconds of what the hell?
The notion that rights don't come from laws and don't come from the government, but come from the creator. That's what the Iranian government believes.
Okay. So Tim Kaine, Democrat, just compared the United States of America to Iran. But
that's amazing.
That's who they are. Now, the rest of it goes on for a minute and 25 seconds. I may play some of it. Well, let's but when you start at that point of ignorance and stupidity, where do you go from there?
So the statement that our rights do not come from our laws or our governments is extremely troubling.
So Senator Kaine said in this hearing that he found it a radical and dangerous notion that you would say our rights came from God and not from government. I just walked into the hearing as he was saying that, and I almost fell out of my chair.
Like, where do you get
because
this?
that radical and dangerous notion, in his words,
I can tell you where,
is literally the founding principle upon which the United States of America was created.
Holy shit.
And if you do not believe me, and you made reference to this, Mr. Barnes, then you can believe perhaps the most prominent Virginian to ever serve, Thomas Jefferson, who wrote in the Declaration of Independence, "We hold these truths to be self-evident."
So no matter what you think of Ted Cruz, there's one thing that you can't deny, and that's that he is a smart guy.
Oh, he is a wicked smart guy.
Ted Cruz clerked for
Scalia.
Scalia? Okay. Who is another guy that I'd love to have back today. There are a couple of folks that I'd love to have back just to watch and see what's occurring today. One of them is Antonin Scalia, and the other one is, oh my God, Sean, don't you wonder what Rush Limbaugh's take on all of this stuff right now?
Oh, yeah.
Would be.
It's amazing.
It's nuttiness. Well, written. It's just like, what?
And Andrew Breitbart, too.
Oh, that, yes. That's, God dang it. Get out of my head.
So what Tim Kaine's doing there is, Democrats have floated this in the past, and they bring it up every couple of years, where they try to insinuate that laws are not natural. And we used to talk about this on Sackheads all the time, that no matter what you believe, or maybe even if you're an atheist, you can still grok the fact that you have an inherent natural protection from government, right? You go through the amendments, right? You go through all of the Constitution, and it essentially says, hey, the Constitution is keeping the government from infringing on your natural rights. And we talked about this on Sackheads years ago when Clint was on. The fact that they use the word creator, endowed by our creator, it is so clear that it says it doesn't matter who you think your creator is, even if you think your creator is just your parents. The simple fact is you have inalienable rights to be protected from the government and to self-defense, freedom of speech, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. The list goes on and on and on. And what Democrats try to do every couple of years, and you just saw Hillary talk about this when we were talking about X and Facebook and free speech online, and how they floated free speech can be limited, like they're doing in Britain right now. They pull this out every couple of years because they want people to think that government gives you rights. And if once they convince people that it's government that gives you rights, then it's easier to manipulate those rights, because now it's the government's right to do it. It's not that paper means it's protection from the government. It means it's giving the government the power to decide what your rights are and are not.
Well, and to be beholden to government. Mm-hmm. What you're seeing here, there's a story behind this. That's a photograph that I took when I was given a cab ride in a Union Pacific locomotive. Now, you may or may not know that America's railroads are paramilitary in nature. And the reason that they're paramilitary in nature is because all of the board members and what they call officers were individuals that were taken from the Civil War. Mm-hmm. So they were called officers on boardrooms and installed in various positions. If you had a position, you were a railroad officer. When I was given a cab ride in this particular locomotive, and UP was at loggerheads, and historically mostly has always been with labor. And I found this on the interior of a cab of an EMD locomotive, a government. And it's like, of all the places to see this, I thought, I got to take a photograph of this. A government big enough to give you everything you want is big enough to take away everything you have. You know, it's like, this was true then. And oh my God, it's true now. So, okay, let me kind of semi-turn this over to Sean a little bit, because he's got a story that I'd like him to tell. if you haven't seen his show, you must, before we get into this. By the way, this is Sean's Twitter feed, and you can find him on X at 2 Against Tyranny, at 2, the number 2 Against Tyranny. So real quick, if you would tell folks about your show, Edge of Liberté.
Every Monday and Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 on the East Coast, right here on the SHR Media Network, simulcast over on KLRN, and you can find us on all the usual outlets.
So anyway, I saw, well, instead of scrolling down this, and you also, if I'm not mistaken, I think you also made this into an article on SHR.
I did.
Okay. So I read that and I thought, oh, with all the other stuff that's going on, I got to make sure that I get you on the show tonight to explain this, if you would, Lucy, because there's a lot to explain and a lot to go in. And a lot of it has to do with the way RFK Jr., the HHS secretary, was raked over the coals today.
They tried.
Huge, but ... accorded very well of himself and placed a lot of big zingers back in the gazettes of a lot of people that were questioning him. You know, no one loves a Spanish Inquisition, and that's essentially what happened.
Yeah. So
tell everybody what happened and why this resonates with you.
Well, RFK was in front. I think it was the Budget Committee today in the Senate. And, they were he's exposing the thing that they hate. And I talked about this in my show last night, and RFK is doing it too, along with Trump, is he's exposing things to the point that keeps them from going backwards, right? He's exposing just how jacked up the CDC is, just how jacked up the relationship is with Big Pharma, just how all of this stuff, a lot through that we know about medicine, a lot of it is bullshit. There's a lot of stuff that's been hidden. There's a lot of money spent where it shouldn't be. You have all these people who are saying, oh, we're going to quit if you don't fire RFK. Okay, well then quit.
Yeah, go away.
Lifetime bureaucrats who are setting themselves up for jobs after the CDC, I have no use for. And then he brought up the MMR, measles, mumps, rubella vaccine. And I forget who the senator was that gave him a minute, but he went on to say how in 2002, a CDC study done in Fulton County, Georgia, showed that Black boys who were vaccinated at one time had a 260% greater chance of getting autism over to children who waited. The threshold was 36 months. Under 36 months, the chance of autism in that control group or in that group was 260% greater than those who waited till after 36 months. So the chief scientist, a guy by the name of Frank DiStefano, this study was done by a guy named Dr. William Thompson. He's a researcher for the CDC, and he brought this information to his boss, and he did it with a group of other people. Frank DiStefano. Frank DiStefano said, "Yeah, you're going to get rid of that. We're not outing that." Even though it was done by CDC standards, it was a study that they did. Dr. William Thompson is a psychologist employed by the CDC who's co-author on a number of vaccine safety studies published by the CDC. This is the guy who was in charge of this study, including the study that claims information has been omitted. He did this study with Dr. Bassan, Dr. Thompson, Dr. Stefano, and Dr. Guerin Alsop. So the CDC said, yeah, even though that study is out there, we're going to dump that. We're going to get rid of it. We're going to trash it. Now, an organization back in 2020 released a whole paper on this, and it's called vaccinateyyourfamily.org, and how it's BS, and this was all a lie, yada, yada, yada. And then I look into vaccinateyyourfamily.org and who's some of the biggest donors, HHS and CDC. So it's their own personal website and webpage, in my opinion. So you may ask yourself, well, that's sad and that's scary, but why is that important to me? My adopted son is Black. And I say he's adopted so you understand, and I'm prefacing, it's not because I think of him of anything but my son, but it's so people who don't know. The first 3 years of his life, he was a foster child. We had him at day 2. because he is a foster child up until he was adopted, all of his medical, well, just about every portion of his life other than feeding, stuff like that, the county controlled, including his vaccinations. He had to follow the exact vaccination schedule that was recommended by the CDC, and this is back in 2001. Now, as I said in my article, had I known this information, and had I known this information, obviously, and it was our choice, we probably wouldn't have done it. But if we didn't know this information, which I did not back then, I can't say for sure whether or not we would have gotten him vaccinated with the MMR vaccine or not, right? But 36 months is not like they are, it's still 3 years into their life. They're still young. There's still plenty of life after that, right? So my son at 12 years old was diagnosed with autism. And I can tell you that has been one of the hardest things in my life that I've ever had to deal with. And not because of what it does to me per se, but what it's done to him. My son's very high functioning autistic. He's extremely smart. He's extremely able to learn. Most people wouldn't know unless you spent time with him that he was autistic, but he is. And his flavor of autism, if you will, is his emotions. He has just incredibly volatile emotions that has led to him trying to harm himself several times.
Can I stop you here just for a second? Because in order to have people understand a little bit of who he is, can you tell me about the time and this tale kind of staggered me a little bit. He recognized that you recognized somebody out on the street.
So at age of 5,
he reads people
unbelievably. He can
very
read
well. So if you would regale that tale, because I think that's really incisive.
This gives you insight as to who he is. At 5 years old, we were going to get a haircut, and we were at a strip mall here. And as I was getting him out of the truck, and everyone knows my history in law enforcement, public safety, whatever, there was an individual further down the walkway who I recognized that I've had problems with in the past. And as soon as I saw him, obviously my son's in hand, my body language changes, right? Because now all of a sudden cop mode kicks in and no longer dad mode. And I'm sizing him up. Is it going to be a problem? Is he going to recognize me? Am I going to have to defend my son? Am I going to have to defend me? Blah, 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 blah. And within about a half a second of my body language changing, my son pulls on my hand and he says, "Is that a bad guy?" And I said, "Yeah."
Jesus.
And so I get him inside, and the guy said something to me, but it wasn't a big deal. We get in to get a haircut. And I said, "How did you know?" And he said, "I don't know, just everything about you changed." He's 5.
Yeah.
Right. So that shows you how intuitive he is. That shows you how observant he is. And he's the kid I always tell everybody, when he was young, he could be playing a video game 2 rooms away, and you could have a conversation as an adult and 2 rooms away, and he will come out and tell you exactly what your conversation about and what was said and who was said it. Like it's amazing how intelligent and observant he is. And he's always been that way. But the struggles that he struggles with every day and the things that he said, when he looks you in the eye and he's crying because he's had a meltdown, and if he makes one mistake, sometimes that's all it takes to cause this complete implosion where he's punching himself in the face or he's trying to claw his face off. And I can remember one of the times he looked at me and he said, "Why was I made this way? Why can't I just be normal?" And so he knows.
How do you answer that?
I couldn't. But he knows even at 14 or now 15, he knows even when he's in one of those moments, he shouldn't be there and he can't get himself out. And that's what his autism, that's what affects him the most. And it has, the scars on his body that he's put there himself because he's been disappointed in himself. If he feels like he let somebody down, he implodes completely. His life has been a struggle, and it's something that as a parent I can't fix. I can help, I can support. We get him help, we get him education, all of that stuff. And I can't fix it. As a parent, that's all you want to do, right? You just want your kids to have a good life. They don't have to be anything special in the eyes of the world. It doesn't have to be a football player. It doesn't have to be an author or a doctor or anything. I just want them to be happy. I think as a parent, that's all you want, is for your kids to be happy. And he is not happy in his own skin. Never mind that, there's the stigma about being adopted. Like I said, my son's black, and he and I walk into a place and he calls me dad. People always go, really? The trade-off to that is I always love when people tell me he looks just like me. Because I'm like, first of all, don't ever insult my son like that again. Second of all, where is it my translucent skin? Is it the fact that my son right now is he's 5'10", 220 pounds, right? I'm 5'10" now. He's just turning 15. I'm 5'10" now. Like, he's almost taller than I am. What part of this kid looks like me? None. There's nothing that looks like me. But I watch him struggle, and he's had to go to residential care because it just got to the point of he's so big and he's so strong that his mom and we can't always keep him safe, and we had to put him somewhere safe for himself more than anything else. And it's working incredibly. The people at his care center are unbelievable. He goes to school every day. He works and lives on a ranch. He's learned how to ride horses. He's ridden 3 rodeos. He's learning to live with himself, but he's under unbelievably intensive therapy.
Well, this is the stuff I want to put up right now. Comparatively speaking, I had, I don't know, maybe measles, mumps, polio, and I think those are about the only vaccines that I got as a kid. And I got one of those. I don't remember which one, the one with the little chicken pox, something like that. And then, it was a ritual that you tried to infect all the other neighborhood kids around you.
Yeah, they got it. Bring kids around, so they got it young.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when you get it older, it's shingles, and that's horrible.
Exactly. I had oh God, this story. I had a dude that worked for me, and he was a little older than I was. He came back as a reserve. And, at the time I'm in my 60s, and he's at least 60, whatever the heck it was, and a couple of years older. And this guy broke out in shingles.
Yeah.
And it trashed his face. It made his life a living hell.
Yep.
And he tried to work as much as he could. He was just past the point of contagion, so he wanted to work. But I looked at that, and I looked at all the misery that he went through, and I'm thinking, what the hell? This is a video of what I want you guys to understand, that the federal government, at least under Biden, expected kids to put up with these days. Listen to the numbers.
Behind me, yeah, I know it's going to be hard to see from there. I can barely read it. This is the current CDC recommendations for vaccines for children. On day number 1, they get their first jab, a hepatitis vaccine. By the time they're 18 months, they've had 18 jabs. By the time they get to be able to vote, they have 76 jabs. Behind me, yeah, I know it's going to be hard to see from there. I can barely read it.
What individual or groups of individuals think that giving 76 injections of things that could be essentially considered toxic from birth up to voting age is a good idea? How do we expect the body to be able to cope with things like that? I didn't get flu injections because flu injections, at least at the time that when I took 1 or 2 and then got the flu, of course,
right,
contained thimerosal and mercury.
And most people don't realize that the flu shots are from like the top 3 strains of the year prior, and it's a crapshoot as to whether or not those same 3 strands will be the one that gets you.
Well,
yes. Look, I'm not anti-vaccination. I understand that some of them have worked just fine, right? Polio is an example of a vaccine that worked well. You could even say that, medicine by and large used to be a very honorable not money making or cause, right? You go back to diabetes and you go back to when insulin was discovered and how much that's changed people's lives. But one of the things that we've run into is we have now this conglomerate of, it's a money-making thing, and many politicians, as we saw RFK Jr. call out Pocahontas today, many of these politicians are getting tons of money thrown at them from these big organizations, these pharma organizations. They are then releasing all of these different vaccines and medicines that get approved by the CDC and the PASS because there's leverage from Congress and sometimes the White House and other places to pass them. Look, I know two doctors personally. One of them is one of my doctors, and the other one is a friend of mine. And both of them said that when the COVID vaccines came out, that they would absolutely not get them themselves or put them in their children.
Oh, I can remember Biden specifically saying that.
I will not take the Trump vaccine. Both of them politically aligned with us, but both of them said they didn't pass the same tests as every other vaccine out there. How can we trust this? And it's not a Fauci thing. I mean, it's not a Trump thing. It was a Fauci thing. Fauci, who was in charge of the NIH at the time, who was in charge of the vaccination, was advising. And, you know, as we talked about with Trump's first go around, there was a lot of people that he accidentally, that he trusted that he shouldn't have. And Fauci's on that list because, you know, I say it all the time. If I am on a plane and it's going down and a guy says, hey, I'm the pilot, I can't fly, but I'll tell you exactly what to do, and we might be able to land this plane, I'm going to listen to him, right? Because I'm not a pilot, but I'll be your eyes and ears. I can take, you tell me what to do to save us, and I will do it. And unfortunately, the pilot that Trump trusted when it came to COVID was more interested in saving the piles of money in the back of the plane that he had than the people inside. And that's really what it came down to.
And boy, is that ever the truth. Folks, I got to take a break. If you would expect that I have, maybe a lot of videos to show you about that very contentious hearing, and then how the American media maggots portrayed that hearing, like, oh my God, this guy is evil, heinous, etc. Yeah, you would be right. I'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
In a world where leftists are running out of metal for the safety pins of their soothing red diapers, one man stands alone, attempting to fundamentally change America, one leftist diaper at a time. BZ, your conservative Sherpa, is guiding you through the maelstrom of Democrat leftists and globalist lies, chaos, deceit, and betrayal. Listen to BZ Saloon on select and exclusive Tuesday and Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Central, and 11 p.m. Eastern on the SHR Media YouTube channel, Twitch, KLRN, Rumble, and X at BZ Saloon. It's one great late-night conservatarian talk radio show. Be there. Aloha.
Hello, friends. You have a moment so that we may discuss our Lord and Savior Minarchy? No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name's Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRN You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRN Radio.
It's Sean from the Edge of Liberty. Just like the Bidens, I too am moving. Only in my case, it's days and times. That's right. You can now find the Edge of Liberty Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on 11 Eastern on the SHR Media Network. Join me as we talk politics, news, alcohol, fun, not so much fun, clowns, small kittens, large kittens, dogs, amoebas, and anything else that just pops into my mind while I'm on the air. That is Monday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 on the East Coast, on YouTube, X, KLRN Radio, Facebook, Twitch, and anywhere else a good podcast is found. Please check out our website, shrmedia.com. I will see you live on the air.
Attention, all patriotic women of faith. Yep, I'm talking to you, sis. Are you looking for high quality, super soft apparel that reflects your love for country and your devotion to God? Look no further than Carry Girl Gear. Picture this. You rocking a tee so soft it's like being hugged by a cloud, all while showing off your love for God and country. Sounds dreamy, right? Well, welcome to reality, babes, because that's what we're all about here at Carry Girl Gear. We specialize in super soft tees, tanks, and more, designed specifically for the strong, patriotic woman who proudly wants to carry their message of faith and freedom. When you shop with us, you're not just getting a t-shirt. You're joining a community of like-minded women who are proud to wear their beliefs straight on their tees. So whether you're sipping sweet tea on the porch or leading the charge for faith and freedom, do it in a Carry Girl tee. Because life's too short for stiff, boring tees. CarryGirl.com, where faith and freedom meets fashion.
Independence. With that declaration, America was born. Inspired by a belief in the God-given rights of every human being, and in the good that comes from exercising these rights well. The founders of our great nation chose independence. As do we. Hillsdale College accepts no government funding because independence makes possible the good to which we aspire.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And I'm back. I'm BZ. I got a great friend on tonight, a great American, a great individual, Sean Lewis, one each right over here. I've learned I can be taught. I can be taughted. Point. You have to point in the proper opposite direction of what you think that you should be pointing to show that's the window. There's BZ over that way. Anyway, thanks for being here tonight. I super, and then another super appreciate it. So,
featuring bobosity, unrestrained, and a carnival of conservative cogitations. BZ, your conservative Sherpa, continues on the SHR Media Network.
So it's Sean Lewis here in the Saloon. Thank you so kindly.
Thank you, sir.
I want to continue with this because this is how the American media maggots quantified the disaster battlefield that occurred today as, RFK Jr., Secretary HHS, was grilled. They said, well, look, RFK, he has a disdain for public health data and the CDC. And then, wait a minute. Okay, look, Kennedy rejects criticism, data, and decorum in a contentious hearing. And then the New York Times says, the CDC isn't publishing large portions of the COVID data that it collects. Now, those weren't published on the same day, but they came from the same organ. It's like, hey, imagine that. How could that possibly be?
And here's the thing about RFK. One of the biggest things is, they try to go after him for not being a doctor. Well, doesn't need to be a doctor.
The CDC, that's not the gig.
Right. He's the administrator, and what he is doing is providing transparency and making sure that what is being done is in the best interest of the American people. That is his job, trying to absolutely make this country healthier. Good night, Mission Ready Men. But one of the problems that Congress has with them is he's going against their biggest donors. I think I put out a post today. I'm going to see if I can find it so I don't misquote the numbers.
Okay.
But I think it's since 1985 through June of last year, the big pharma, the pharmaceutical companies, have donated something like $3.5 trillion to politicians.
Oh, but that wouldn't affect anything.
Sorry, 6.3 trillion. $6.3 trillion have been donated by Big Pharma to politicians. Think about that. That is 1/6 of our nation's debt right now that they have donated to politicians.
I love it how he didn't take this shit sitting down. Now, I have to say, because of the voice box thing, sometimes he's a little difficult to listen, but the dude is just packed with great information to begin here.
This morning, I got the latest numbers from CDC that 76.4% of Americans now have a chronic disease. This is stunning. When my uncle was president, it was 11%. 1950, it was 3%. Today, it's 76.4%.
Okay, but stop with the facts. None of them responded to any of this. It's not about the facts.
Nothing to do with the facts.
8 out of 10 of our kids cannot qualify for military service. This is a national security issue. When my uncle was president, we spent 0 on chronic disease. Today, we spend $1.3 trillion. It's the biggest cause. It's increasing. And all of the arguments that Republicans and Democrats have about single payer, Obamacare, or the various ways to allocate the health dollars, they're all like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. If we don't end this chronic disease, we are the sickest country in the world. That's why we have to fire people at CDC. They did not do their job. This was their job to keep us healthy.
Thank you.
And I need to fire some of those people to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Oh, yes, definitely. But like I said, would it surprise you that I have some great witty repartee with regard to this? I certainly do. Here.
Hold on a second, because I want to touch on
COVID-19.
Go ahead.
I have a list in front of me from opensecrets.org. Between 1990 and 2024, the most donated to politicians. And if you don't mind, I'll read them to you.
Oh, please.
Pardon me. Bernie Sanders, who essentially admitted today that everybody in Washington is on the take. I don't know if you have that video queued up. That was
gosh, yes.
$23 million since 1990 and 2024. You know, Bernie, the guy who loves communism as long as he's in charge. Raphael Warnock, 14.7 million. Elizabeth Warren, 10.47 million. Ron Wyden, 6.2. Patty Murray, 5.8. Tammy Baldwin, 4.9. Tim Kaine, who you saw earlier, 3.3 million. Chris Murphy from Connecticut, 3.1 million. Maggie Hassan from New Hampshire, 3 million. Ed Markey, Mass, 2.3. The list goes on and on and on and on.
Hey, would it be surprising to you to know that I already had that list and I hadn't spoken with you before that? And there's the list to which Sean is referring. You know, I go back to this.
And that you just put up, the 1.2, the one that showed Elizabeth Warren 1.2, that is just pharmaceuticals. That is not pharmaceutical manufacturing. That is not health insurance and HMOs, hospitals, medical devices, medical societies, and nursing associations, all organizations that make money off of Big Pharma. So her total is 10.4 million from all of those organizations since 1990.
And most of Americans are like this. Your life is falling apart. Everything is falling apart, but you still believe that everything is wonderful because we all went through this.
Mm-hmm.
We all went through this for Wuhan 19. You know, and the CDC said, oh, yes, masks do nothing, said Fauci. That was eradicated. Fauci himself being the highest paid federal government worker in the history of the federal government. And then, of course, this stupid bullshit, because if you're standing up in a restaurant, the COVIDs are going to get your ass. But if you sat down, then, they can't get you. People bought off on this.
It's a term you used to use all the time, right? It's fear porn. They feared you into submission. They made you afraid that if you didn't listen, you were going to die. Look at what we were told at the beginning of COVID, when now we know they knew what they were saying wasn't true.
Exactly.
But they still said it. Fauci joking about the masks and all of that stuff. And the fact that some of them are so nonchalant about, oh yeah, no, we just destroyed people's lives left and right. And we stuffed old people in nursing. We stuffed the people together who are most likely to be affected by it with other people who are most likely to be affected by it. So
yeah, Governor Cuomo, the mass murderer.
And you look at all of that, and all they're trying to do right now, the left, I said this in my show last night, they're trying to keep the machine running, because the more it gets destroyed, the more it gets blown up by Trump and his administration, the more people see what government really is in this country and what it has become, and the uniparty that it is, then they will no longer be compliant and believe everything government ever said. And the politicians who've made literally millions of dollars being politicians by donations by big farmers and others can't maintain power that way.
Would you buy a used car from these ass wipes?
No.
I don't believe so.
Nope.
So this is the guy wearing the dog chains and the gag ball and the crotch rocket and all the tattoos and shit.
You on the left.
The what?
I thought that was you on the left at first.
Oh, no, that's me. Went back when I was thin. I had to get my tats erased, though, in order to qualify for podcasting. Anyway, these are the people that were running the CDC. These were the crazy people that were weighing in, especially that weird trans fucking unit on the left, who was weighing in on your health. And then the other one on the right did nothing but steal luggage.
Yeah, the one on the left was the Surgeon General. Look, the one on the right was a screwball, and okay, he was in charge of nuclear waste, whatever.
Yeah,
no one problem. On the left was the Surgeon General of the United States of America, which is why he is in that uniform. And I say it all the time, and I forget the woman who is some country's health administrator or health minister.
Oh, yeah, that's 400 pounds in Germany.
Yeah, she looks like me. And it's like, is that the person who you want to be telling you how to be healthy? I mean, no. It's so dumb.
It is. It's incredibly dumb. Dumb.
It's like a personal trainer eating a box of ho-hos as he's yelling at you to do more sit-ups.
Yeah. John Cornyn.
Do you believe COVID-19 was politicized?
Yeah, the whole process was politicized. Senator, I mean, we were lied to about everything. We were lied to about natural immunity. We were lied to about,
yes.
We were told again and again the vaccines would prevent transmission. They prevent infection. It wasn't true. They knew it from the start. It wasn't true because that's what the animal studies and the clinical trials showed. We were told that there was science behind cloth masks. The CDC allowed the teachers union to write the order closing our schools, which hurt working people all over the country, and then pretend it was science-based. All of these issues, and then I can show you, like, for example, Chairman Wyden was talking about me politicizing ACIP.
Oh, we'll get to Wyden.
During COVID, probably the most famous scientist on ACIP was Martin Kulldorff from Harvard, the great world-renowned epidemiologist and vaccinologist. And he criticized the COVID booster mandates. They ejected him from COVID because he wasn't in the orthodoxy. The two biggest health officials at FDA during COVID, Dr. Gruber and Dr. Krause, criticized the Biden mandates, vaccine mandate. You know, President Biden said in August, I would never take that vaccine, the Trump vaccine. And he came in, he mandated it, and then he fired the two top health officials at FDA who said, hey, this thing has not been properly tested. So the whole process was politicized, and even today.
I'm 15.
So let me stop right there. He had facts. He came to battle with information. The other people didn't come to battle with information. They came with, well, another series of facts that most people didn't get to hear. A minute and a half.
We have an internal threat, but you also mentioned transnational fraud rings, terrorist organizations, nation states, North Korea, nuclear weapons programs funded by our tax dollars, China, Nigeria, Iran, Romania, Russia. not our friends necessarily, that are being funded by taxpayer dollars. Could you give us some examples of how this is happening?
Okay, so this is the money that was all pissed away from you. Your hard-earned American taxpayer dollars were pissed away by the federal government under this, given to all sorts of people that didn't deserve them, were millionaires and or multimillionaires themselves, business owners, et cetera, who didn't need the money but wanted to make sure that it got to them and not to the other people who actually deserved it, if parenthesis, if they deserved it at all. It was a scam. It was a ruse. Here's another part of it.
Yeah. So when you think about what happened during the pandemic, $1 trillion was stolen.
$1 trillion. It's like I can see the guy's face during Reagan. $1 trillion here, $1 trillion there. Pretty soon you're talking real numbers.
70% of that money went overseas. And I can give you some examples. In a Western state, they had more people applying for unemployment insurance benefits than they had individuals over 18. The people that were stealing the money from Romania were using it to facilitate other fraud schemes that include fentanyl, that include doing things to impact our democracy. On the insider threat, right, the first thing you have to say, and my dad was a public servant, is 99% of people that work in the public sector are honest, hardworking individuals. But there are some, and what you need is data and technology to root that out. There were examples during the pandemic. There were some examples even of last week where people got into the Medicaid system in a Western state and stole $50 million.
So it wasn't just about Wuhan 19 or the vaccines, but it was also the money that stemmed and flowed from all of this. But of course, naturally, that wasn't covered as well very much.
Oh God, no. Why would it be?
No, because you wouldn't want to make that obvious. This was stupid. Now I'm going to point something out that you may not have thought about on this, but it was true in our form of left coast law enforcement. And you may be thinking, wait a minute, what kind of a video does he have that has to do with law enforcement? This was so ridiculously stupid.
Look, 2 young ladies in Las Cruces, New Mexico, at a town hall recently gave me this starfish pin. I was going to give it to you today, but after your questioning today, I don't think you deserve it, because what this represents is...
Let me tell you what it represents. This is why this is so ridiculously stupid. You know what a starfish meant in law enforcement on the left coast? That meant that was a representative of your sphincter, meaning that you were an asshole. So he was wanted to give an asshole pin. Now, whether he recognized that or not, I don't know, but he wanted to give an asshole pin to RFK Jr. And then he reneged on that. I was going to make a gift of an asshole to you. I don't think he knew that, but that's what it means to a certain amount of individuals. And then, of course, wait for it, is the guy that never fails to disappoint.
Every single Republican, I don't mean to be political here, Mr. Chairman, has received PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry. Are they all corrupt as well?
And I'm telling you, the American Heart Association has been co-opted by the food.
Everybody but you, Senator. But you know what? When you ran for president, we have a corrupt campaign finance system. Maybe you will agree with me on that. Okay, you were already president. You got a billionaire behind it.
Okay, stop right there. Do you guys know, I know you know, Sean, but do the rest of you guys know why it was that Bernie Sanders was ripped out of consideration for president and Joe Vegetable was shoved in? Because Sanders right here was going to shut down the spice, and the spice must flow. He said, we got to remove PACs. We got to remove all this funny money. And to a great degree, I don't disagree with that. There are some things that occasionally, like a stopped clock, I admire Bernie Sanders is he's always been a fucking socialist from day one, but at least he'll tell you to your face that he's a socialist.
I'll tell you too, though, this outburst today, and you look at the amount of money he's received, I don't think he is a true socialist or communist. I think that he is a communist in the sense of he thinks government should control everything and people should bow down. But he believes he should be the chairman of the board of communism, so he remains in power. He doesn't like people.
No, but Sean, but he plays one on TV.
Yeah, exactly. And
So-
he's worth more money. It's so funny. I say this all the time. If Bernie Sanders ever becomes a billionaire, he'll then start screaming about how trillionaires have to go down.
That's right. They must. Oh, you mean Mr. Three Homes Bernie Sanders,
Yes.
Mr. Maserati Quattroporte Bernie
You
Sanders.
received $300,000 from people, not from the industry, people in it, as I did, from individuals. You corrupt. President Trump got $3 million. Every Republican got
Bernie,
corporate
you did
tax
too.
money from the pharmaceutical industry. Democrats as well. Everybody is corrupt, but you? Is that what we're looking at? I don't think so. And I think the issue
I
now,
don't even know what you're talking about.
well, I think you do know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking.
Here's who we didn't see in that list, comma, Sean Lewis, comma, correct. We didn't see RFK's name, did
Someone
we?
posted that and they showed his financials from when he was running for president that he did in fact not take money from Big Pharma for his campaign.
Huh. Imagine that. And
People
yet,
forget he was doing this before he even ran for president. Big Pharma has hated him for years. They're not giving money to him. He has been on this kick. That's why his thing was MAHA, make America healthy again. But before he ran for president, he was going down this path about how things are not transparent.
He was sort of he's in his lane. He was kind of the one-trick pony. One thing you need to know about RFK Jr., and this is a great role for him, but he's not an advocate of the Second Amendment. He kind of loves him some red flag laws, etc. But this dude is in the right seat at the right time, and that's why RFK says, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The issue is every time anyone
Are you saying
disagrees with
are you saying the pharmaceutical industry was supporting my presidential campaign?
I'm saying
I don't think
No.
Oh,
I'm not saying
I'm
that.
not saying that.
Legal-
That's not what I'm saying.
Politically, here, Mr. Chairman, has received.
So it's like,
No, what I said was a lot of words to make it seem like you did, in fact, take a lot of money from Big Pharma, but you didn't take a lot of money from Big Pharma. And I can't say that, so I have to say this to make you look bad and yell and get a soundbite.
right. And then Pocahontas had to step in.
You are effectively denying people vaccines.
we're not going to recommend a product for which there's no clinical data for that indication. Would you? Is that what I should be doing?
What you should be doing is honoring your promise that you made when you were looking to get confirmed in this job.
You're going
and
like
that
this.
is, you promised that
You know, the fingers together means that you sucked up the money. Obviously, that's a clear lie, which Bernie Sanders admitted to, but now she's going Jacques at RFK Jr., and that's not
would
true.
not take away vaccines from anyone who wanted them. You just changed the classification of the COVID vaccine.
I'm not taking
And
them
the
away from people,
consequence-
Senator.
It takes
She doesn't get it. It's all a lie. It's
she
all kabuki theater of the absurd. It's like Florida. Ron DeSantis passed the law, and I have the article later. I don't know if we'll get to it or not, which
I will
essentially
tell
said,
you-
go ahead.
Sorry. The biggest thing that she's talking about is how it won't be as easy to walk into a CVS and get a vaccine, to which I turn around and say, wait a minute, what other vaccines have you been able to walk into a pharmacy besides the flu shot and just get randomly without treatment from your doctor? And how come I get eczema in the wintertime? How come I have to go see a doctor to get my prescription for a topical cream and steroid, but any idiot can walk in off the street and usually get a free jab in the arm of an untested vaccine? Why do they want that? Because Big Pharma makes the money off of it.
Profito. Big
And
profito.
she makes money off of Big Pharma. It's not hard to figure out.
Well, it's like you pointed out with regard to the flu shot. Now, I got one flu shot and got the flu, and then decided with all the chemical bullshit that's in the flu shot, I didn't want to do that crap anymore. But on the other hand, you were taking a flu shot for something that may or may not work from the strain currently from the prior strain that they had to bubble on in eggs to let them incubate. And then on top of that, let's see, customarily, how many people died of flu every year for a certain period of time? Anywhere from 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 60,000 people a year died from the flu. We didn't mask up for that
Get
shit.
away if you can't get it from your pharmacist.
Well, most Americans are going to be able to get it from their pharmacy for free.
It's just not mandated.
And it's not free. This is where I'll argue with RFK Jr. It's taxpayer paid. It's not free, right? It won't cost that person, but the taxpayers are paying for it.
Well, if you're a Democrat, it's free.
$8.
Most Americans will be able to get it from their pharmacy
The
for free.
question is everyone who wants it. That was your promise.
No, I
Mr.
didn't.
Kennedy,
I
not
never
mine.
promised that I was going to
You didn't
recommend
promise-
products with which
I'm
there is no
sorry.
indication.
When you said,
And I know you've taken 850.
Oh, here we go. Excuse me.
Watch the look on her face.
Excuse me while I pull this back just a little bit so that you can hear this again. Go.
you said,
And I know you've taken $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator.
did you hold up a big sign saying that you were lying
Ignored.
when you said that? Because you are the one who said you would not take them away. Now, Senator Kennedy,
I'm not taking them away from anybody.
Secretary, you
want me to indicate a product for which there is no clinical data?
Senator,
Is that what you want?
Secretary
Yes, that's
Kennedy,
exactly what you want.
said you wouldn't, and now you did.
I'm not
So
taking them away.
obviously-
Everybody can get access to them.
No, they can't walk into a pharmacy the way they could last month and get access.
It
to a
depends on the
vaccine.
it depends on the
It
states.
depends. A year ago,
But they can
it did
still
not
get it.
depend.
Everybody
A
can get
month
it.
ago, it did not
Everybody can
depend.
get it.
Enough of her.
Everyone
it is
can
not.
get
It is
from
not proscribed. It is not verboten. It is not. You cannot have this. No, that's not the way it's working. All it is it's not
And
mandatory.
it probably should be, right? Given what we know about COVID now, given what we know how, it affects certain people that have morbidities, sorry. But the simple fact of the matter is, why have they not pulled it from the market and now that the scare is over and made it go through all of the testing every other medication had to have before it gets approved? You have medication out there that sits in testing in the FDA for dozens of years.
Oh,
But this one-
FDA testing for vaccines. See, folks, you who are the weak-brained amongst us all are the ones that love to be. You're going to be the useful idiots, the test beds, the guinea pigs, the canary in the coal mine for all of this stuff. It's like, what part of that makes any sense to anybody whatsoever? Not very much at all. That's ridiculously specious crap. But speaking of ridiculously specious crap, let's continue here. Ron Wyden.
Senator, you've sat in that chair for how long? 20, 25 years, while the chronic disease in our children went up to 76%. And you said nothing. You never asked the question
What?
why it's happening. Why is
By the way, I should point out these two guys are the same age. That thing looks like a zombie from The Walking Dead.
this happening? Today, for the first time in 20 years, we learned that infant mortality has increased in our country. It's not because I came in here. It's because of what happened during the Biden.
There are countries in Africa with a lower infant mortality than the United States of America. That's fucking embarrassing. The United States, wholeheartedly embarrassing. How do we get here? Why did we get here? How about this? Let me put this up here. Oh, shit, I missed a break. Doesn't make any difference. That's my show.
My committee's got now over 8 million pages of information. Just in the first tranche, by the way, what we discovered is that CDC, somebody in the federal health
Listen to this.
agencies, this interagency communication, hid the signal. They admitted there was a signal on myocarditis, and they hid it. They didn't warn the public. They didn't warn doctors. So that's just one instance of corruption and lies told by the CDC. We've got a lot of others we'll be rolling out, okay? So we held our first hearing and permanent subcommittee investigation on that hiding of the signal of myocarditis. We've heard a lot of studies, okay? As I've looked into science, it's been thoroughly corrupted. Here's data, and I'd like to enter this sheet into the record. I've been publishing this chart for, since really early 2021, when I'm on, for example, talk radio shows and they talk about this, they get deplatformed, or they were, because all the censorship during the Biden administration. Here's the facts. The VAERS system that was touted in October of 2020, this great safety surveillance system on COVID. A few months later, when they didn't like the results,
Ripped
they
out.
started denigrating their own system. But VAERS shows that there have been 38,742 deaths reported on VAERS worldwide associated with the COVID vaccine. 38,742.
Okay, stop right there. Sean Lewis of SHR, Edge of Liberty. Do you believe that those are the true numbers of the people that have passed due to the vaccine, the test bed vaccine on all of us guinea pigs? Anybody?
So
I
much.
mean, is that even remotely feasible, sir?
You have to remember during COVID, when people were dying, they were reclassifying. True story out of Florida. This absolutely happened. I read the story. There was a guy who was riding his motorcycle who got decapitated. After he got decapitated, they did an autopsy and he popped positive for COVID. Do you know what his cause of death was?
Let me guess, and I've said this before. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I will say it's the difference between two words: with and of.
And so on the flip side of that, I don't think that they were completely honest about who is dying as a result of the vaccines and myocarditis and all the other side effects.
Well, the other thing, God, what's this guy's name? I think it was Dr. Scott Swain, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was in Minneapolis. He was an actual doctor, got deplatformed, got his license removed, and he was the first one to reveal on the Laura Ingraham show, which I distinctly remember because I watched this live, who said, when the people who are judging how people died get $30,000 if they say they passed of Wuhan 19 instead of with Wuhan 19, there's a $30,000 incentive as opposed to $10,000. And if money isn't the incentive, I don't have any damn idea what it possibly would be.
Yep, because they would guarantee that money if the person died of it. And if they didn't, they weren't guaranteed that money. So it's plain and simple.
Canada Heavy Hall. My wife was injured from the vaccine, and no doctor up here will believe her.
I believe you.
Nobody will ever believe her. There's a dude that I know that lives in Fresno, and he got either the flu or COVID. I think he tested for COVID and was positive. And the doctors there wanted to give him remdesivir. Well, he had, because he has a podcast, had researched a good deal of it. And he said, and told his wife, do not let the doctors give me an injection of remdesivir. It's $5,000 a pop and it'll probably kill me. And the doctors got irate at him and wanted to release him from the hospital, but they couldn't. He made a fit. His wife made a fit. It was all smoke and mirrors and bullshit and money.
And refused treatment.
Yes, that's exactly what they wrote. He refuses treatment and he's alive today. Huh? Imagine that. Shocking.
Is Mr. Geyer a doctor?
No.
Did you know he never went to medical school?
He's not practicing medicine.
Did you know that he got caught in Maryland and was
Wait for this.
charged for practicing medicine without a medical license?
He was charged by a medical board.
Oh, wait. This deserves a God, that was sad. That was remarkably sad. There we go. This was back in your fucking face, asshole.
He sued the medical board, and the medical board was found to have acted in actual malice.
Let me go back.
Let me
go back.
And the medical board was found to have He sued the medical board, and the medical board was found, and the medical board sued the medical board, and the medical board was found to have acted in actual malice and was fined $2.6 million by a judge in Maryland for doing that.
See, so you choose to know a lot when you want to know a lot.
Okay, that's what you say when you're slammed up the asshole.
Nothing else to say.
You know,
You want to know a lot.
He thought he was going to cut a fat hog against RFK. I'm going to prove you to know nothing, and you're ignorant, and you're Rasputin, and you're terrible, and you're evil, and you're RFK.
You can characterize it any way you want. I quoted them today. What I said was accurate. What you said were lies. You
Are you saying, Senator,
moving the Titanic.
Are you saying that the mRNA vaccine has never been associated with myocarditis or pericarditis in teenagers?
I am simply.
Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I am simply trying to say that the people that you have put on that panel, after firing the entire.
You're evading the question.
No, I'm.
The temerity of the table turned to Bennett. You're avoiding the question.
How dare you?
Watch the umbrage.
I'm asking the questions here.
You're evading that question.
I'm asking the questions.
I asked you a question.
I'm asking the questions from Mr. Kennedy.
I'm asking you. No, I'm asking you. No, I'm asking you. No, I'm asking you. I'm an asshole. I agree. You are an asshole.
Expose facts.
And schools and teachers all over the United States of America who deserve so much better than your leadership.
Where are your facts? And the answer is you don't have any fucking facts. Now, you tried to pin him down any number of times, but that didn't seem to work real well. And it seems to be like a bad or a good highlight ball. That shit came whipping right back at you in a court.
Oh, it was amazing. That was entirely the verbal representation of. Do you remember that picture that was floating around the internet for years of the revolver with the barrel that was straight
pointed
back?
backwards?
That was.
Yep, exactly. So anyway, I'm gonna play this too. This is amusing. Let me see.
Why have you done that? For the COVID vaccine, I was removed by FDA because there was the industry.
No, it was behind closed doors.
No,
with
that's not
and scientists who said they wanted to brief you on the science, scientists who wanted to understand why the FDA, why you unilaterally changed the parameters for giving vaccines, making it possible now, to Senator Cassidy's colleagues' points, that they're going to have to go off-label.
This is crazy talk.
This is crazy talk.
Prescribe the vaccine.
And he laughs.
For children. I'm not making things up. Do you know how the FDA approval process works and what happens?
No, that's just his job.
I know exactly.
What an do you know what an off-label prescription is?
I know exactly how it works. I know exactly how it works.
So why behind closed doors?
It's not behind closed doors. The industry makes the studies, and they could not provide a study that said that it is effective for healthy kids.
So when have you produced the data that you relied on and that this FDA relied on to change those parameters? You did it behind closed doors.
No, the data is all public.
Now parents who decide that they do want their children to have
You're just
COVID
making
vaccine
stuff up, Senator.
I'm not
You're
making
just
stuff
making stuff up.
You know, sometimes when you make an accusation, it's kind of a confession.
You know, like
Which he just did over and over and over again.
Yeah, the same crap that you've said essentially. It goes on and on and on and on. Let me see if I can do this.
I just sent you a link in the private chat, by the way.
It's what I'm working on right now to see if I can put this up right now, and I believe I can.
This was part of an entire thread that Holden Kaluta put on X, and it's titled "There's $2 million effort to get RFK ousted right now." A memo that was leaked had the whole plan. Senators are demanding his resignation. The vaccine industry is lobbying to get him fired. And if you read through that, this I don't know why. Oh, you just made it big when I made it big on my screen. That was weird.
GMTO. Dude, GMTO.
I had a panic there where I thought I somehow hacked onto your system.
Wait a minute. How do you get in there?
In July, the Brownstone Institute exposed a leaked memo from BIO, the lobbying arm of Pfizer, Moderna, Merck, Eli Lilly, and Johnson & Johnson. The memo made the goal clear. It's time to go to the Hill and lobby, and that it's time for RFK to go. And then if you look into that, they talk about political landscape, strategic voices. They break down everything that this is their tactical plan to go to RFK Jr. The memo revealed that they set aside $2 million, half of its $4 million cash reserve to stop him. They plan to target legislators and influencers. The Brownstone Institute noted that the plan reveals a timeline racing toward September. It's now September, and we're seeing an all-out PR war from senators and Bernie Sanders. By the way, this was 2 days ago. This was not released today. This was 2 days ago. Former CDC directors and the media trying to get RFK Jr. ousted. Out of their $4 million in cash reserves at this particular, the BIO lobbying firm, they're using half of it to try to get rid of RFK Jr. And this was posted, like I said, 2 days ago. So everything, like you said earlier, everything we saw out of the Democrats live today was nothing but kabuki theater.
Well, look what it says down below on this. Let me go back on this. It's tactical considerations, opportunities, and threats. Well, let's look at this a little closer. So legislators and influencers, meaning leftists on social media.
Yep.
Campaign needs to both inspire and frighten potential outcomes.
And frighten.
That's if that isn't the operative word in that, I'm not sure what necessarily would be.
Hey, DZ,
sir.
Let's just say, and just hear me out on this one.
Okay.
Let's just say that lies were allowed to the FDA, or studies were intentionally ignored, and people died as a result of an intentional act conducted by people at the CDC or the FDA. And in order to cover that up, a group of people conspired together to influence other people and overtly lie in order to change the opinion and try to rewrite history and essentially replant evidence. What's it called when two or more people going to a process together in an effort to commit a crime?
Shit, hang on. It starts with C, right?
Yep, that's what I'm thinking of. But
I can't remember that word.
Yep. And what is it? Is it also a crime when you create a situation that leads to the death of a human being?
Oh, no. Are we talking about deaths?
Yeah.
From,
in other words, if somebody at the CDC was, say, dumping information that they knew to be true from Moderna or whatever, or hiding information, and people were dying, and they're now allowing that jab to go out and people die as a result. I know the word laughter is in it. I know, but I can't think of the entire word. Oh, manslaughter.
Well, oh no, come on. Let's not go there.
You
because
can't have laughter without manslaughter, or vice versa.
They're just guinea pigs.
Mm-hmm.
They're just canaries. They don't matter.
People
Cuomo shoved hot Wuhan 19 patients into nursing facilities in the state of New York with a resultant minimum of $11,000. 11,000 persons who died directly as a result of that.
Mm-hmm.
So the weakest people in the weakest position, with the worst trained people, with the least paid people, with the least equipped people. And I know this because I had to stick my dad into skilled nursing facilities 5 times before he passed away. So Cuomo and all the rest of you, don't hand me that bullshit. And you're murderers.
Let's not forget the hospital ship that was parked on shore that was never used because Orange Man bad. Let's not forget the mobile hospitals that were set up in Central Park that were not hardly used because Orange Man bad.
Let's not forget the ventilators people said, ventilators, ventilators, ventilators. And he proffered and got the ventilators. And then, oh, we're not going to use them. Fuck it. You know, the people are going to die anyway. So why worry? Why waste that?
And then we eventually found out that people on ventilators had a better chance of dying.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. Let's go here to the guy I know that everyone loves, Raphael Warnock.
Credentials and expertise. Clearly, you have an agenda. It is a threat to the
agenda is not to kill people, comma, asshole.
Public health of the American people. It's clear that you are carrying out your extremist beliefs, which is why you attempted to fire Dr. Menarez. Sir,
We're the sickest people on earth.
I'm speaking.
How am I a threat?
Secretary Kennedy.
How am I responsible?
Credentials and expertise. Clearly, you have an agenda.
The agenda is not to kill people. Now, if that's an agenda, if that's making him agendized, then that's perhaps something that should have been considered from the get-go. From the
what blows my mind, BZ, is as RFK Jr. said, we are the sickest we have ever been. Our children are sick. Our adults are sick. There's morbid obesity. There's all of these issues going around. And the amount of money we dump into the CDC and the FDA and research, and nothing has changed, and it keeps getting worse. And now their answer is to keep doing the exact same thing over and over and over again.
Wait a minute.
Not change direction.
Isn't there a definition for that?
Yes.
Is that where you were going?
Doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results.
Yeah. Lassie, what do you smell? Oh, the definition of stupidity. Oh, that's right. Let's continue.
What you have said has contradicted yourself and others. It's, I don't even know where to start.
I don't even know where to start.
So I'm going to start here. Over the last 8 months, you have claimed to make America healthy again, but in actual fact,
no, he's trying and you're stopping him.
You have led the charge in the Trump administration to destroy what is best in our healthcare system, and your denials and your evasion and your lies here do not change that.
Okay, stop. Let me show you what the best in our system is. That's the best in our system.
Well,
there's the best in our system.
Last night, in regards to this, when I said, or maybe I put it out in a post, but I said something to the effect of, the problem we have is the people with the CSI brain who think that everything should be solved like that. And the fact you even point out, it's been 8 months. Do you know how many fucking people live in this country? Do you know how fucked up our systems are, top to bottom, inside to out? Do you know how hard and how long it's going to be? Shit, it takes 30 days for the average person to create a new habit. 30 days for an individual to create a new habit.
This is just a partial list of the people that are on the hook.
It
the
is
people
just,
that are snorting big pharma money up their nostrils.
Oh, and they're snorting it off a hooker's ass that is the insurance companies.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Big pharma, love your big butt, baby. Speaking of babies, is this normal? As in, what the fuck?
Yep, keep sticking them with things and see what happens. And then when they get older, let's jam them on all sorts of other medication for their mental health and change their genetics and yada, 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 and see what happens.
Sure, because every contraindication has a contraindication. Isn't it funny? Boy, I would love to see drug ads ripped from TV, but at the conclusion and in the little teeny scrolling small print at the bottom, contraindications may include bleeding hemorrhoids, hemorrhaging blood, gallons of blood from the mouth, but we're here to make you healthy and safe.
Yeah, I say it all the time. The fact that drug companies can advertise on TV and tobacco companies cannot, but yet weed companies are being promoted as this amazing thing, just tells you how fucked up. Because look, I know what tobacco does, and I know tobacco is not a great thing, but half these drugs aren't great things either. And they push them out like they're, and like you said, all the side effects are unbelievable. You can get club foot. You can get a sleepy eye. You can get balding. You can get this. Like, it's just, the list goes on and on and on.
I got delayed borborygmus out of that.
No,
Let's
you'll have to
continue.
wear an adult diaper for the rest of your life, like Jerry Nadler.
Hey.
You are the Secretary of the Health and Human Services, yet you're trafficking in these fringe idea and discredited theories that are completely.
No, what he's doing is he's not letting you steamroller and kill the American people anymore. You don't like it, and he's interrupting the
Out of
spice.
step with the scientific consensus. And you see.
Let me stop right here. You correct me if I'm wrong. Sean Lewis from Head of Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there isn't but maybe a handful, if that, maybe 2 hands full, maybe, of DC asswipes in the House and the Senate that aren't on the take. And I mean on the take from everyone from the cartels to big pharma, banks, BlackRock, and all points in between, because you have to be, before you even get to DC, you have to be a massive piece of political smegma before you even get there.
Yeah, and
You have to have lessons in how to fuck people over before you get to DC. I'm a virgin. And then maybe you are a virgin. Maybe you had great intentions when you get there. But wait, the fetting and the parties and the drinks and the alcohol and the drugs off hookers' asses, just like you remember, you're all a huge corrupt cadre of fillators and lickers of clitties all throughout the boneyard land in DC. I don't trust the fucking lot of you. And primarily, there isn't a dime's worth of damn difference between the Republicans and between the Democrats as well. But that's just my opinion. Sean, am I being harsh and judgmental?
No, 100% not. And look, you'll notice that not one Democrat on that dais can turn around and say, you know, I don't necessarily agree with how you're going about this, but I agree that there's a problem that all of our kids are sicker than everybody else in the world. Or, you know, myocarditis is a thing, and I don't like how you're going about it, but I think that's something that we should work together on and investigate. None of them said that, and I go back to my show last night. Why? Because Orange Man bad. They don't have suggestions. They don't have ways. They don't say, hey, let's work on this together. And I agree that maybe it should be investigated. Nope. No matter what he said today, which is why he came, holsters fully loaded. The reason he had to do that is because he knew no matter what was being said today, no matter what evidence he produced, they were just going to absolutely try to placate him and paint him into this raving lunatic that they all were.
Well, quite clearly. I hope I have it. I may have to go through this a little bit. You know what? I think we're going to, Sean, are you cool for doing a little bit of overtime tonight?
Not too much though, please.
Okay. All righty. We'll do some, because somewhere in here, I'm going to have to look. I think I have a video of one of these guys saying, well, you know, we talked to you. And then RFK interrupts and says, I'm here. I've always been here.
Oh,
you want to talk to me?
Yes.
Yeah, you want to talk to me? I've been here. I gave you my personal cell number. And then the reply was something similar to, well, you need to call me because I'm important.
Yeah.
So the wreath was extended and the hand was slapped.
That's what was absolutely amazing to me, is that comment of, well, you said you were going to work with me and blah, 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 blah. And RFK said, you have my personal cell phone number. You could have called me at any time. You said you were going to, and I was waiting for it. But why should I chase you around? Why the hell? These senators absolutely think their importance is so unbelievable. Hey, how about this? Why don't you stop going to protests about murderers and illegals, and why don't you make a run over to the CDC and have a meeting with me? You have my number. Well, that doesn't raise money for me, so it doesn't do me any good. Exactly. So shut the fuck up.
Well, yeah. And then
I wish you said that.
Yeah. Like customarily, but wait, there's more.
This is a list of ingredients from foods. Carrageenan,
riboflavin, modus honest. It's not just the vaccines he's working on. Sodium glutamate and 20 others that I can't pronounce.
It doesn't sound good. Polysorbate 80, that stuff's really bad. Sodium.
I'd like a walk up to my Wendy's. I'd like a gallon of polysodiate monochloride diarsenic poisonide. I'd like that,
Can you
especially
sprinkle that on my steak, please.
Yeah, an extra heaping helping of that poisonide because it's got a good flavor.
Cereal.
Sodium steroid laxalate. I think you're getting the picture that you can't pronounce this stuff.
Sodium.
Hey, a better life through chemicals. If that's what Monsanto wants, that's what Monsanto needs to get. Is this it? Oh, no, this is, wait a minute. Well, hell, I'm here. Let's play it. This is Ron DeSantis.
Why now? Why lift any mandate beyond just the COVID mandate?
Well, first, we believe in informed consent and we believe in parental rights. Those have been core principles that we've operated.
Oh, damn you for making sense.
How dare
damn you.
On both during COVID and after COVID. Now, what the Surgeon General pointed out today is there are actually some mandates in Florida regulatory that never even made it into statute through his agency, long before I was governor, long before he was Surgeon General. So he has the ability to peel those back. He also has the ability, which he's doing, to expand the religious objection to include moral and ethical concerns about it. And so we feel that's empowering people to make the right decisions for themselves and for their families. And as a parent, you shouldn't be penalized. Right now in this country, you go in for a surgery, some places won't see you if you haven't had the COVID shot or certain immunizations. Some pediatricians discriminate based on whether you've done hepatitis B or not. And that's not informed consent. When there are coercive impacts, when they're trying to coerce choices and there's negative impacts, then that undermines your ability to choose. So I think it's typical. Everything we did during COVID, they screamed bloody murder on all of it. The reality is we've always been for informed consent and we've always been for parental rights.
So stop making sense. Holy shit. Now, let me ask you as a parent, who should be the ultimate decider in chief in terms of what's better for your kids? Because if, let's say your daughter came up to you, and I'm sure she will tomorrow, and said, Dad, would you cut off my right leg and gouge out my eye? Because I'd like to be a pirate today, and you'll do that for me because you love me.
Yeah, nope, I will say no, but I'm in California who's about to pass a law, if it's not already passed, where if she goes to a teacher or somebody who's trusted, then they can secretly do that behind my back.
This is great. You may or may not have seen this, but this is a response, a post on X from JD Vance. And it's got a video down there, which I'm not going to play. I'm just going to read for those people that are on Spreaker and you can't watch the show, but you can hear it. This is a post from JD Vance. When I see all these senators trying to lecture and gotcha Bobby Kennedy today, all I can think of is this. You all support off-label, untested, and irreversible hormonal therapies for children, mutilating our kids and enriching big pharma. You're full of shit, and everyone knows it.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me, JD.
These are the exact same people who weeks ago were telling everybody it's okay to jam your kids full of all of these hormones and hormone changers. It's okay for them to chop off their genitals. It's okay for them to do this and that and trust the science. And how dare you go against science and blah, blah. And none of that stuff's been tested long term, which is why Britain of all places has pulled as an option. You can't just go in and start putting your kids on hormone therapy because we don't have any long-term studies on it.
You know, of all the crazy ass things, of course. Come on, folks. I told you in my promo, well, on this show, I'm going to get to this and this and this and this and this. And I didn't even get to the UK at all. But the UK has said no to puberty blockers to kids. That's the UK. We were talking about the UK, one of the most repressive countries extant now today. I may get to the UK later, but
Not tonight.
absolutely correct. Sean of Lewis. It's like, what the fuck? They're doing it. Excuse me. No, that's you over there.
That is
They're doing it, but we're still advocating and conducting the mental, chemical, and physical butchery of children because it embiggens the wallets of hospitals, doctors, nurses, and all sorts of other people in the medical field, to include Big Pharma, making them drugs for the kids. Let's lop off those breasts. Why not?
It's unbelievable. I think back to when I was a kid. I can remember being probably 14 or 15, asking my dad if I get an earring, right? And I was met with a wall of reasons, both physically and or literally and figuratively, I should say, as to why that wasn't going to happen. The number one reason is when you're 18, you can do what you want, but until you're 18, your ass is mine, and I'm not going to let you permanently alter your body. Now, in the grand scheme of things, is it a big deal? No. But the point was, you're not just going to go poking holes in yourself now. You can do whatever you want when you're 18. I'm responsible for you until then. And now we have a large population of parents in this country who want poodle purses, purse poodles, I should say.
I like poodle purses.
I like poodle purses too. Purse poodles who are in the form of their young children as they parade them, and you see it in Hollywood all the time. Statistically, I forget which Hollywood actress it is, but all three of her kids are trans, which is statistically impossible. And you have parents who are encouraging it. I saw an interview with a woman today. She's like, "Oh, our daughter told us she was trans when she was a year and a half." Really? How did she articulate that shit? Right?
That's the extent to which the genetic mutant mental damage lives large in leftists, particularly, and I'm going to point this out because this is all about leftists, particularly in leftists' insane white women. How many Asian women do you see advocating to clip off shit from their kids?
Nothing.
None. How many black women do you see advocating for that stuff? None. How many Hispanic women do you happen to see advocating for that stuff? Oh, well, can I get back to you in those stats?
I call them awfuls, angry white female liberals. AWFL is awful, and that's exactly what they are. And it's a mental illness. It is almost like, remember like the dance parents in the 90s who like had their daughters in all of these dance competitions, JonBenet Ramsey,
Ramsey, right? She was one.
You see this other illness, the same thing, and you see it in sports these days where kids play baseball, but it's not just little league baseball. The parents are spending $100,000 every couple years. Their parents have taken out mortgages so their kids can have the right bat and travel team and blah, 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 blah. They do the same for soccer and hockey, where parents are trying
custom jerseys. They buy their kids custom jerseys.
Are trying to either live vicariously through their kids or are so worried about being their friend that they're no longer parenting. My 11-year-old daughter asked me tonight, "Dad, can I dye my hair?" Nope. This is not a conversation. There was no, and to her credit, she just said, okay. She didn't even try to argue because she knows better.
Yeah.
No, you're not tying
it. It's a dictatorship in this house.
Mm-hmm.
I got the dick and you're the tater. Also,
if you're 15, 16, 17, you have some money and you want to try something different, and it's not anything crazy. It's not the purple hair or pink. If you want to put highlights in or change, and that's what you wanted, but I still say no because it's all that chemicals and she's 11. Then that's a different conversation. But you're not going to go ahead and go full punk rock hair at 11 years old. Sorry, it's just not going to happen.
However, I bet in the process of perhaps taking your kids to school, wherever they go, I bet right around her age, there are parents
absolutely see it.
Who do that and to let their kids do that. The other thing I'd like to point out in terms of what you term awfuls, but I just say they're insane leftist white chicks. When you see somebody that an insane leftist white chick tries to push, it's because it generally will be, and I've noticed the trend of this, it will be a boy pushed by a leftist white chick to be a girl because she didn't get a girl from whomever,
Permanent damage.
And so I didn't get my little girl, so I'll just make one up. I'll just Frankenstein one up out of the chemical, mental, and physical butchery of my kid, because I'm much more important than my kid. And what I want someone to love me who is a little girl. That's how fucked up these units are.
Yep. And then they don't even look at what they will become. And it's just pathetic and it's sad. And it goes back to this whole, it goes back to everything that's going on in the Senate right now. The Senate, like you said, everybody's making money off it, including the senators. So why would they want to change direction unless you force them to do so? It's sad. It's pathetic. It's the state that we're in right now. This is, again, the everybody wins generation that is coming up and raising children now. And this is what we're getting. And it's pathetic and it's sad.
The spice must flow.
Yep.
Sean Lewis, tell us where we can find your show. I know you got to giddy up and go.
Yep.
Tell us where you can find the show, what days, what times, where. Go, sir, go.
Mondays, Fridays, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 on the East Coast, right here on the SHR Media Network, simulcast with our good friends over at KLRN Radio. And you can follow me on X. That's where I am 99% of the time. The number 2 against tyranny. 2 against tyranny. You can just look up Sackhead Sean and I pop right up.
And so thank you kindly for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Sure. And so, folks, wave bye-bye to Sean. Bye, Sean. Bye, Sean. And I got to tell you this. Oh, hey, make it bigger. Embiggen yourself. Shh, don't tell Sean this. Okay, now that he's gone and he can't hear anything. So don't let him know that, because it would blow his head up like the biggest beach ball you could possibly think of. Don't tell him that I actually had one of the best times I've had in quite some time on this show. Don't you fucking say a thing about that, okay? Because he's my brother and I love you, bro. I love it. Shit, don't tell him that either, for fuck's sake. You guys. Shh, be quiet. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thanks so ever kindly for being here tonight on BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct from the SHR Media Network, the North Idaho version of it. So promotional consideration as per normal, because I'm nothing more than the most normalest guy you ever know, is by the Lockheed Martin skunk. Fuck it, drive on. And also by Shure and Electro Voice microphones, by Avrakis boards, and also by Pratt & Whitney engines producing thrust. You can trust. You can take this to the bank. Okay. Oh, wait, I forgot. Tiaras are by My Little Pony. Look that up and see what that means. As a matter of fact, thanks to my personal KC-135 Kettle One refueling team, with whom I shall be consorting in, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. Or words to that effect, Senator. So, thanks to Sean. I'm not going to say that real loud. Thanks to you for being here. Thanks for being in chat. Thanks for listening later in podcast, everybody. God bless. Take care. Be safe.
Everybody quiet down now and get some sleep.
Night, everybody.
Good night, Mama. Night, Ben. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children. Good night, Dad. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing?
Good night,
Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night and good luck.
Am I a Marvel movie? You didn't go away already, did you? No, of course you didn't. Because there are more comments that I have to put in here. I can still hear you. Kiwi Lass says, great show. Thanks. She's a great Kiwi Lass. Canada heavy all. See y'all later. Everybody. Night, buddy. Good night, all. Really, I'm going. Okay? This is it. I'm going. I swear to God. I'm going. You go too. Go on. Scat. Off with you. Off with you. Go home. Go to bed. See you later, alligator.